Hey, it's your boy, Last Mountain Badger here. Heard an interesting question on the radio. CBC was asking about immigration stories. They had a genealogist on talking about Canada's head tax for Chinese immigrants. Coming up pretty quick will be the 100th anniversary since Canada, National Parliament passed the Head Tax Act and the Chinese Exclusion Act in 1923. And it's a talk show, it's a CBC over the lunch hour. And the question was, call in and tell us about your family story, your immigration story. Well, my family's immigration story is rather pleasant. We came from Britain, and that's pretty much it. We didn't, we just had climate to deal with. We didn't have the racism and the language and the religion and just a horror story that sometimes is, immigrating to Saskatchewan or Canada. It's just horrible sometimes for folks. But every time I meet an immigrant, I tell them my story, on occasion. I apologize because I hear their story, whether they're a taxi driver or a cleaner or a dietitian, working in the hospital. Because often immigrants come over, we recruit people with their master's degree in business and entomology and so forth, but we don't recognize their credentials, and we certainly don't recognize their credentials very quickly. So I apologize after listening to their story, and I say my people didn't go through that, and I'm sorry, and I'm embarrassed that my country is doing that now. And not as an immigrant, but now I'm actually on occasion, I have some Hindu, Sikh, and Muslim friends, and on occasion, when I'm introduced, they'll say, "He's British," to each other. And I'll pause them on that. I'll ask them to repeat which British I actually am. But there is this racism and this hatred that's just under the current. While they have a tremendous amount of admiration for British, they hold them in high esteem. There's also that is British undercurrent, and I'm kind of prejudiced a little bit amongst when I'm introduced to people. And I appreciate it, because it gives me just the smallest tip of the iceberg sample of what it must be like to be anybody else, right? What everybody else goes through. I get the ant on the iceberg, the ant on the tip of the iceberg, the flea on the ant. It's the smallest taste to breed that bitterness, that hatred. That's some of my thoughts on the immigrant side. Canada and Saskatchewan, we've come a long ways. But boy, I tell you, we still have a long ways to go. We got a lot of folks to apologize for, too, and a lot of really silly, either grossly misunderstood or certainly grossly inappropriate policies at both the provincial and the federal level. That's what's on my mind, answering that question. I have a bit of an immigrant story. C'est tout pour maintenant, la prochaine fois. All for now, until next time.